Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Suta Goswami said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyasadeva was born to Parashara in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of Vasu. Purport. There is a chronological order of the four millenniums, namely Satya, Dwapara, Treta and Kali. But sometimes there is overlapping. During the regime of Vaivasvata Manu, there was an overlapping of the 28th round of the fourth millenniums, and the third millennium appeared prior to the second. In that particular millennium, Lord Sri Krishna also descends, and because of this, there was some particular alteration. The mother of the great sage was Satyavati, the daughter of the Vasu fisherman, and the father was the great Parashara Muni. That is the history of Vyasadeva's birth. Every millennium is divided into 3 periods, and each period is called a Sandhya. Vyasadeva appeared in the third Sandhya of that particular age. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasani Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Suta Uvacha Dvapare Samanu Prapte Tritiye Yuga Paryaye Jata Parasharad Yogi Vasavyam Kalaya Hare. Translation. Suta Goswami said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, the great sage Vyasadeva was born to Parashara in the womb of Satyavati, the daughter of Vasu. In this stage of Srimad Bhagavatam, we see, just prior to this, the Shaunak Rishi, who was heading the rishis, the sages, had asked many questions to Suta Goswami. So Suta Goswami is now, in this verse, beginning to speak. They asked him many questions. He is going to describe about Srimad Bhagavatam. The history of Bhagavatam, he is beginning with here Vyasadeva. In Srimad Bhagavatam we will see one thing. It's not presented chronologically. And Prabhupada writes in the introduction, chronology is not there, it's not important in this case. Simply, in Srimad Bhagavatam, science of God is spoken. So that was spoken on by great personalities through many different ages and different places. Bhagavatam is giving narration even on the heavenly planets, in Brahmaloka and Jnana Tapaloka, Swargaloka, different places, even on Kailash. Lord Shiva is speaking Bhagavatam to Parvati. So the history of Bhagavatam is given in Bhagavatam. Later we will see. Here we are seeing now beginning from Vyasadeva. But before, and Narad Muni will see. But before that, actually we see in later cantos, second canto, they will go before this and say that Bhagavatam, of course, is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna first, to Brahma. Then Brahma spoke it to his transcendental son Narad Muni. Narad Muni came to this planet and spoke to Vyasadeva. So the history of Bhagavatam will be spoken. Now here they are speaking about Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva, he wrote the Vedas down, compiled the Vedas. Actually the word Vyas means to divide. Vyasadeva is an office, it's a ministry, and it's occupied by different personalities in the beginning of Kali Yuga. So our current Vyas, Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas, but they are every beginning of Kali Yuga, Vedas need to be written down, because coming population will be very fallen. We mentioned many times that, for example, Srimad Bhagavatam is coming to us we are very fortunate because everything has been put in one book, in one place, and everything means knowledge of Vaikuntha. This is not easy to get. It's not in the Vedas. The Vedas don't contain knowledge like this, because most of the people came here to enjoy, not to worship God. So most of the narrations of Bhagavatam is karmakan, 90% karmakan, yagyas, which yagya to do, what to do for different benefits. But Bhagavatam, this text is unique. If you want to appreciate Bhagavatam, you have to read other Puranas. But don't do that now. You have to read all of Prabhupada's books at least 3 times either, or best if you can do 7 times. All of Srila Prabhupada's books, then we can read outside so many books. But we'll see, because I spoke to a friend of mine who had read Bhagavatam, I think 15 times. He read other Puranas. He told me it's very difficult to read after reading Bhagavatam, because Srimad Bhagavatam is like very sweet, it's speaking very beautiful topics. But other Puranas, then they go into narrations, material narrations, and they are not speaking purely Krishna conscious thing. But Bhagavatam is different. When Lord Shiva was in his narration is there in Padma Purana, Lord Shiva narrated all the 18 Puranas. He listed them. That shlok is there given, we can find it easily. And when he listed them, he explained the Sattvika, Rajasic and Tamasic Puranas. 666. He listed all the Puranas. But when he spoke about Bhagavatam, he said Shubha Bhagavatam and the auspicious Srimad Bhagavatam. He didn't say just Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is different. It is glorified in other Puranas also. Now, so Srila Vyasadeva, he compiled the Vedas. It's not that Bhagavatam will come all the time. It will not come. It's not easy to understand the Vedas, the plan of the Vedas, the plan of Krishna. But our Sampradaya, it's been packaged very simply. It's not so easy. Even in other Sampradayas, if you ask them very clearly, what is the goal of life? What is the goal of study? What is the goal of bhakti? They will not clearly be able to answer. As in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, where everything it is supermost. It only comes when Mahaprabhu comes. Mahaprabhu comes only when Krishna comes. Krishna will come once in a day of Brahma. What does that mean? This Satya Treta Dwapar Kali, Chaturyuga. 1,000 times. Then Krishna comes. 1,000 times. After he comes, then it's night of Brahma. I mean, within this 1,000 is the day. And then after 2,000 he'll come. Because the night comes of Brahma, then the day. The night of Brahma is again 1,000 Chaturyuga, 1,000 times, which comes to 4.32 billion years. So, I don't know, sorry, lakh crore system, I don't know properly. But 8.64 billion years. After that, Krishna will come. Billion means 4, 6, 9 zeros, 9 zeros. So, in Kali Yuga, the population is so fallen, they cannot understand and they cannot do anything, they cannot follow anything. Even to sit in a class is something difficult. Previously, we mentioned like Srila Prabhupada's guru, his lectures was 3-4 hours, even 6 hours, and people could sit. But now even I cannot sit that long. Even to sit is difficult. And then you have to hear, and then attention, but our life is disturbed. It's not so easy. So everything has been given directly in the form of Bhagavatam. Now here is the history. Before we speak about Bhagavatam, he will speak about the history. But everything is not given at once. So now the history is given here in terms of Vyasa and Narad Muni. We will start. After that, later on, before that even, what was spoken. But that is actually philosophically higher, because those verses, previous what we got, Bhagavatam, everything is very nicely explained. But previously people were very sharp. So what Narad Muni spoke to Vyas, that was much more, it was difficult. Then what Brahma spoke to Narad Muni, that is also more elevated subject, difficult to understand, and like that. Therefore, now we are getting this. But later will come what was spoken before this. What Brahma spoke to Narad will come in second canto, but that is more difficult. So we cannot, that comes later. This came first. So now speaking about Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva compiled the Vedas. Many people are confused, especially so-called Indologists, those who are studying Indian culture and religion. They are saying Vyas wrote the Veda. He wrote, but it didn't come from him. They are saying he wrote it. He compiled it. Vedas are eternal. Bhagavatam is eternal. So this particular Vyas, now in this shlok it's mentioned here, that Sutta Goswami said, when the second millennium overlapped the third, Dvapare samanuprapte tritiya yuga paryaye. So it's saying here, in the paryaye, in the place of. Now, what is the first yuga? Second? Correct. Third? And fourth is Kali. Even this word, Dva means two. Dva pare. Tritiya. Triti means third. Treta Yuga is the third. So in our age, some mix-up happened. And that is the one where Krishna comes. In this one. So now it's written. There's a chronological order of the 4 millenniums, namely Satya, Dwapar, Treta, Kali. Sometimes there's overlapping. There's an exchange. It says in place of Paryaye, in the place of this one came. That happens in the regime of Vaivasvata Manu. This is our Manu now. So how many Manus are there in a day of Brahma?
5,000.
There are 14 Manus. They are listed. That means so one day of Brahma, all of them will come. In one day of Brahma, Krishna comes. He'll come, I think it's the 7th Manu, Vaivasvata Manu. During that Manu, and within that Manu, the 28th Chaturyuga, like in that period of Manu.
Vaivasvata Manu.
Yeah. So now within Vaivasvata Manu's period, there will be Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Satya, like this it goes. So in the 28th cycle of that one, Krishna will appear. On schedule, he will appear. When he appears, there is the exchange. Dwapara and Treta Yuga. So, in that particular millennium, Lord Shri Krishna descends. And at that time, Vyas, when he compiles the Vedas, Srimad Bhagavatam, we also get it. If Krishna comes for a purpose. Many purposes are there, internal and external. You know what this means? Internal reason, external reason. Internal reason is confidential. Who here? That reason is not told to everybody on the road walking, something they who don't have faith. They'll say something else to them. But actual reasons are a little different. Like Mahaprabhu's appearance. You're telling he came to bring the Yuga Dharma. Yeah, but he came to experience emotions of Radharani. That will not tell just anybody. So Krishna appeared to attract us back to Goloka. Because we are living in this world thinking this is the life, this is the family, this is my shelter, the money. This is, actually we have a wrong idea. So Krishna comes to do his Leela, and by performing his Leela, he's showing what is the actual Leela. So when he performs his Leela, we see that Krishna as a child, if you read this narration, it is so beautiful, nectarine, Amrit. It's when we are reading, it's like so absorbing. And when we hear about Krishna Leela, when we hear Krishna Leela and we see even the drawings of Krishna done by pure devotee. No, not anybody can do a drawing of Krishna. It has to be a pure devotee, a devotee. So we see the drawings and hear narrations and so many poems and dramas done in that. So it's manohara. It steals the mind. Mind is taken away by that. Chittahari, name of Krishna. It just attracts us. We are absorbed here, then we hear that and we become absorbed there. So that is the power of Krishna Lila. It is the real thing. And this is the photocopy. This material world is the photocopy. Actual child is Krishna, but we wanted to experience. So we also became a child here. We took birth, I want to be like that. Actually Krishna Lila is there. But we wanted to take that place. So we also took that position of a child. And we also have a lover. Actually Krishna has lover, we are not supposed to. We are lover of Krishna. But this material world, all of this is simply we wanted to play the part of Ishwaraham, Aham Bhogi. I am enjoyer, I am the master. Okay, try to do. But what do you realize after some time? It's not possible. Something is missing. And so when Krishna came to enact his Leela, and we read and we hear, then Anubhav, we get realization that actually this is the reality. This is the pure thing. So Krishna descends and he performs his Leela. Simultaneously, Krishna also wants to enjoy. For example, in Golok, there is no demon, no asura. But you see, all of us have propensity to enjoy fighting. Little bit argument we like to do. Argument, fighting. Krishna, why is it there? Because we are Ansh of Krishna. He also likes it. He likes to fight. So, he cannot fight in Goloka. Who will fight? All devotees. So he comes to material world to fight Leela of Asura Vadha, kill the Asuras, and to argue, fight. And also, the Leela of Goloka in this material world is also different from that Goloka, because Goloka there, it's very sweet, Madhurya, but it's still Aishwarya is there. This is Vaikuntha. But here, that sweetness is more, because if we go to Vrindavan, we see that how they are living. Previously, how they lived many years ago there in that part of the world, and here everywhere. That they'll just have one cow, one house, and then the cow will give the cow dung, they'll put that on the wall, they'll use that for cooking, put on the field they'll grow the crops, eat, and while eating they'll cut something, the remains they'll give the cow. That is their life. Everything is there in that, and they'll simply hear katha. And so that is very sweet. And so Krishna comes in this Goloka to enjoy that. There's some difference. So Krishna descends, and when Krishna descends, these are the different purposes: to attract us back, to perform those pastimes. At the third Sandhya, here Sandhya means something like Pada. You know, if you divide the Yuga into 4, so here Vyasadeva appears divide into 3. If you divide the Yuga into 3 periods, Dwapar Yuga divide into 3. So the third, that means after 2/3 of Dwapar is there, over, Vyasa appears at that time. So Vyasa appeared, we understand his father was Parashara Muni. We also understand his appearance was not normal, it was supernatural. Because Parashara Muni, in Mahabharata there is a narration, in other Vedas different narrations are given, similar thing, but basically what happened, Parashara Muni, we know, is a great Muni himself. He was crossing the river, and the boat woman, Satyavati, was there. That time she had a smell, her body was smelling of fish, so she was not getting anyone for marriage. And that fish, her smell of the body was just very far away. So he was crossing the river, and previously people had higher karmic powers. Just now we have this watch, you know. So what is the time? We are checking the watch. But Vedic culture, astrology, astronomy is very time specific. You know that. Sometime our Paran is 1-2 minutes, Ekadashi Paran, or the time for Bhumi Puja is some particular time. But how do you know? There was no watch. How did they know? They had that knowledge. They had the knowledge. They had the power. So Parashara Muni said, this is a very auspicious time. this minute, it's auspicious. If a child is born now, is conceived now, he will be very great personality. So he told Satyavati, I want to produce a child. How can we do that? I am not married to you. You know what this is, there's a dharma, this society, how can we do that? He said, no. It's, I'm going to do it in such a way that you will produce the child, but you will remain as if you never produced any child. And also, he put a mist around the boat, then they produced the child. And that particular time he understood this is the time for conception. So the seed, the jeev that entered came, that was Vyas. Vyas, you can say, superficially was born to fisherman, Vasu. Satyavati was born of fisher. She was a fisherwoman. But Parashara Muni was Muni. So Vyasadeva appeared. So Vyasadeva, we see in the Vedas many times how great personalities appear. Not like now. Now we are, due to having not following dharma, we are not having so much abilities and powers. Prabhupada mentions in lecture how that even Gandhari was able to make her son Duryodhan invincible. You know that narration in Mahabharata? He could not be killed because Gandhari saw his body and made his body like iron. But because he was wearing something in this area, Kupan area, that was remained weak. So finally his death came because of that. Yeah, you know this, I won't have to repeat. So how did she get that power? Srila Prabhupada mentions, she followed her dharma. All of us have a dharma according to Varna and Ashram. If whatever is our dharma we follow, Prabhupada said we can also become powerful. Brahmana can become, even a woman can become powerful. But they, like for example, modern women think power will come if I take the man's position and I do their duty, this feminism, the women's liberation movements. But actually Shastra says for women to be very powerful, she simply has to do her dharma and she'll attain that power. So like that they can get their power. So Parashara Muni was himself a great sage. He produced Vyasadeva. And Vyas later on, he took this position, actually he's Krishna Dvaipayan. He took the position of Vyas. Every beginning of millennium, someone takes that position. So he took that position. And Bhagavatam, his narration, it begins with him. That we'll see later what happened. He was wanting to, he did his duty to compile the Vedas, but he was not so satisfied with what he did. So Vyas wrote it down. Even the place he wrote, we know where it is. He's still there. He's still in the cave. Vyasa Guha. Vyasa Guha, the cave is there. For us to understand the history of Bhagavatam, who compiled and how everything is done, and how Vyas appeared and all this, now narrations which I am telling you, if you go to some Indologist, these people in the college who are studying, they'll have something totally different. But the history of the compilation of Bhagavatam and the compiler is given in the Vedas itself. We don't have to go here or there. The modern scholars the modern approach to studying Shastra, Indologists, is a way how to escape surrender. Krishna, great personality. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they said that he had epilepsy, like this. Because he will go in ecstasy. How can they understand? Vyas wrote down the Vedas. When? 9000 BC or 3000, I don't know what they say. But did you read the Vedas? Do you know what is there? How can a man write it? How can a man write Ayurveda? Ayurveda is a science of curing, how to cure. Vaimanik Shastra. This is not written by man. So, this history what we are given, this is given in Shastra. But in the people who are Nastic, they do not like Veda. They do not like too much culture, religion. They will put an excuse to remove it, like secular or equality of religion. So don't follow any religion. Why? They have to be equal. No, secular means everyone follow your religion. Prabhupada explains. Now they are saying secular means don't follow anything, don't mention God. That is not secular, that is Nastic, that is atheism. But secular means you follow your religion, you follow all of you, and follow properly, don't follow wrongly, don't, create disturbance. So that is, so people go into the college and they study Bhagavatam, Krishna, Vyas and this, and the college, they don't declare Krishna is supreme, Vyasa wrote the Veda, it's for deliverance of the jivas. Their purpose is to kill Krishna and to escape surrender. Because actually if you study the Vedas only, the conclusion will come to surrender. Vyasa was a devotee. He took Shiksha he had a guru. His guru was coming in parampara. And he wrote the Vedas. Why? They say that a man wrote it, and he wrote it, and some say that even the stories he wrote was not true. They use the word mythology. Mythology is not a word to be used for Shastra. Shastra, you can say itihas or Shastra, but mythology means mithya, not true. So no, in this we should do propaganda in ISKCON and tell everyone not to use this word. So, and then as Prabhupada said, as if Vyas, who had such a great brain, will sit down and write some story. Why should he do that? Why should he spend long time, his energy and time to write some story, like in Bollywood film, they write a script and then do, or some books, mundane books. What is business Vyas has got to do to write some story for our entertainment? One shloka is describing Vyasa Vishala Buddhi. He had a great intellect. Powerful intellect. If you read Vedanta Sutra, you will understand what a brain here. You cannot understand one line we cannot understand Vedanta. For that one line we need a guru to understand what is it. Prabhupada, whatever in Vedanta we know, Prabhupada told us some few sutras. And to read it you need a high level of language, understanding, purity, intellect, that the brain cannot work like that now. How it before people would discuss intricate topics of Shastra. Simply here, if you read in Bhagavatam, if you read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was debating based on Srimad Bhagavatam with different personalities, and how he gave so many meanings for one of the verses of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. He gave, I forgot the figure. How many was it? Atma Rama verse 64 meanings he gave. And now, if you just look at that, how he reasoned, this word means this, but it can mean like this, like that. I was just reading that. It's a little bit involved, but it requires great attention and some cool brain. It's difficult to get a cool brain now. As I said, Kali Yuga situation is like that. So, simply to read that, you can understand that to understand Vedic knowledge is not easy. If you study Vedanta and Upanishads, there, as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna says, Rishibir Bahuda Gitam Chando Vividai Pritak Hetu Brahma Sutra Padais Chaiva Hetu Madbir Vinishchitai. He told Arjun that the absolute truth is discussed in the Brahma Sutra. Brahma Sutra is Vedanta Sutra. And there he said, Hetu Madbir Vinishchitai, it's discussed with reason and logic. So that's how it is. Now, if you read that, you will understand what kind of brain Vyasa had. And the other Upanishads, how deep it was. Great personality. So then how can that be creation of some normal person? But they did not read it. Or if they read, then like Ayurveda. I mean, one of my family members, we were discussing about Ayurveda. I said, this is divine. No, not possible. How can it be from God? Someone wrote it. How can someone understand that kapha, pitta, vayu are the basis of health of the man, of a human body? How will you know that? How can I? I cannot see in the body, unless I cut the body and open. I see, but I cannot see kapha, pitta, vayu working together. It is nonsensical. How the Vedas are divine origin. We have to take it from the Veda. What is the history? What is the purpose? What is the source of the Veda? Has to be taken from Vedas. Vyas compiled it. He did not write it. It was already there. He wrote it down. Including Srimad Bhagavatam compiled by Vyas. Who was Vyas? He was a Shakti Avesha avatar. Avatar of Vishnu, but not a plenary. He was a partial incarnation. In other words, he was a Jeev like us, but he was empowered, powerful intellect. Vishnu empowered him. So empowered him and he wrote down the Vedas. And the Vedic knowledge he compiled at that time, about 6% are remaining, because we have the record how much is in each of the Shruti, the Veda, Shruti. So he compiled that and gave it to each one of the paramparas. And some paramparas are still surviving. I mean, we are meeting. I know one Yajurvedi, I know Samavedi, but they are not as before. The Kali Yuga effect is there, that everything will be destroyed in Kali Yuga. They are agents of Kali at work now. Countries don't have a government. Many countries don't have government now, We have a government. We can easily come do our work. But, some countries in Africa, in Middle East, here in South Asia, they don't have government. One by one they are losing. 3 of our neighbors now, touching this country, they don't have government, proper government. You can say they have, but they're being run by this army or this directly. So actually these are agents of Kali. It's predicted in Kali Yuga there will be no government, no order, everything will be finished, fallen, except those who are taking shelter of the Sankirtan movement. They will not be affected, because the Kali Yuga, the mantra of Hare Krishna removes the effect of Kali. But effect of Kali is Kalihi. What is meaning of Kalihi? Meaning of Kali? Quarrel. There'll be fight. Previously, 3 generations would live in a family in one house. No problem. Now 2 people cannot live. Divorce. 2 people can. Before, 3 generations or 4 generations, we will not understand who's the wife, who's the child, whose child is this, that one, where are they? We will not understand. But now it's not possible even to neighbors to live together. Actually, this is the effect of Kali Yuga. We should understand this age is coming. It will be very fierce. Shaunak Rishi, why are they so much asking Suta, please tell us Bhagavatam, please tell us, please tell. And they're glorifying him. You see previous verses. Oh Suta, you are so great. You are like this. You followed your guru, so you got the mercy and tolerance. You have the power to tell us Bhagavatam. Please tell us. You are seated there. In Shukadev Goswami's narration, so you please tell us. They understood what is Kali Yuga and what will happen. So they were trying to save us. Please speak Bhagavatam. People in Kali, they'll be like this, they'll be like that. So now that we have got the Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva had written it down by mercy of his guru Narad Muni. In this age, we should take full advantage. Srimad Bhagavatam must be read, not even once. We have to read repeatedly. In our life, we have to read Bhagavatam, at least minimum 5 times. I know I met people not like us, working people, they have children, they are working in IT. One of them read 10 times Bhagavatam, other one read 8 times. You simply have to arrange your day, and we have to study this book. It came for us. Bhagavatam came for us. Okay, and it will save you. Bhagavatam will save you. Outside is hell. It's a hell. We cannot take it. It will be so vicious. Whatever austerity is there to sit and read Bhagavatam, the austerity to not do it is very difficult. So, by mercy of Suta, by mercy of Vyas, we have got this great text. Now the narration will begin after this, how Vyas himself sat down to write and received this great text. Hare Krishna. Any question? Yes. Once.
So it was, you mentioned that in Kali Yuga the governments are not there, but and so many problems. But still, those who are taking shelter of Sankirtan, they won't be affected by that. So some people may question that there are devotees in countries where they are being, like governments have collapsed and now they are being very much mistreated, peppers being broken. And so how do we see that? How do we explain that?
If you're talking about troubles and suffering, that is the material world. But you see, in Kali Yuga, suffering is there, but our path to Krishna, that will be clear for a devotee. He'll be able to practice. Okay. One other thing, that when we speak about devotee, we use this term very loosely. Someone comes, starts chanting, is following, not following, half following, doing something, the devotee. When Shastra, when Krishna says, Name Bhakta Pranashyati, you understand Bhakta there, it's a high level. According to level of our surrender, that much Krishna is reciprocating. If we fully surrender to Krishna, we are there, then Krishna will fully protect. It's a reciprocation of Krishna like this. But if we desire to be pure, Krishna protects. In another way also, even Krishna's time, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, devotees were somewhat persecuted. But it was in a controlled manner to remove our impurities. There was something that need to be purified in us for us to come back to Krishna. So that also we go through. But as Prabhupada says in Lilamrita, for example, that once in Kolkata there was extreme famine imposed by the British, where the price of the grains went up 100 times or something. And practically like today, rice is 10 rupees, then it came to 1,000. Who will afford it? So people starved and died on the street. And Prabhupada said, I called up all my friends, no one was affected. Somehow. So that is, protection is there. In cases where it's complex thing, even within the Sankirtan movement, people maybe go through hardship or some big difficulty, but we should understand that suffering is different. That is to bring us to Krishna. Tate nukampam susamikshamano bunjana eva kritam vipak hidva bahuvi vidadhan namaste yumukti padisataya bhak. Brahma says that those who go through their sinful reactions, suffering them, at the same time still worshipping me, offering obeisances to me, and awaiting my mercy. For them, the Vaikuntha come, they are Mukti Padesa Daya Bhag. That means they inherit Vaikuntha. They must inherit. Yeah. So conclusion, what I spoke is that when we say devotee, you have to see, I may say I'm a devotee, but I am still having guna. When Krishna speaks, and when we speak, we may speak like that, or we may speak loosely devotee, but we may speak that the highest devotee who's fully surrendered, no one can harm that sort of personality. And still, if you're in the beginning stage, whatever stage, right, Krishna protects. But whatever karma comes to us, it comes in such a way that we will advance our bhakti and finally come to Krishna. So in that way, we are not lost. That's all.
That is the only reason of producing child at the exact timing, or any other reasons are there?
What's that? Parashara
is only that is that exact timing for producing child is very auspicious. Only for the reason.
Parashari produced.
Or is there any other reasons behind this?
So yeah, question is that the Parashara Muni produced Vyasadeva, because that was an auspicious time. Was that the only reason? I can't understand all the Vedic knowledge, and there may be some, if you see some Puranas somewhere, there may be some other things, but from Mahabharata narration and some Puranas, what we understand is that Vyas had to appear and write the Vedas. No normal Jeev will be a Shakti Avesh avatar. They always appear in extraordinary circumstances and some plan. So Vyas appeared under, it was a plan, it was a divine plan. And Parashara being a great personalities, they were all in this plan. In Krishna's plan, whoever is involved are high-level devotees who are surrendered and not having their own desire, and therefore they are used as instruments of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada himself said in that verse, Atava yoginam eva kule bhavati dhimatam dullabataram, that verse, the way he says that great yogis appear in transcendental families. He said, I appeared in such a family. So did my Guru. It's a plan, it's not. So, your question is that the only reason? From my understanding and what we read, the reason is Vyas had to appear. There may be other reasons in other parts of Veda, but it's principle. Yeah. Yes.
There is one propaganda about Vyasadeva that just like in the modern society we see the cheating propensity is so much. So there are ghost writers, for instance. Like the book will be produced by one person's name.
Yeah, ghost.
And then there will be many people in the group, they will be helping to it. So we say that one person couldn't have written all this. So they say no, not one person. There may be so many people who wrote this, but then it was published, these literatures were published as Vyasa, and they say that they also ascribe Vyasa as the incarnation of God, so no one can question him after that. Because he is Shakti-Avesh avatar. So then...
Okay, so they have a complete, that narration what you said, that is completely different than what is our account. Okay, so my question, why should we listen to what they are saying? They have their opinion, but let's look at it. So many different people compile, because in their experience, one person cannot do that.
They even see the different styles of Sanskrit, and they say that different people have written because
Okay, so because in their experience, someone's writing has one style and ability and capability to write one text. Now here, so much is written and in different styles. How can it be one person? So that's their point. So it's true, maybe in their experience, no one can do that. Actually, in the material sense, it's not possible. Therefore, we are saying he's not a normal personality. And because they don't have experience of such a thing, because they are speaking from pratyaksha. Whatever I have seen and heard, that's what I'm basing my knowledge on. But many things we have not seen and heard. We cannot, and there will be things which cannot be based on what we have seen and heard. Things which are beyond our senses. So, it is unscientific, unintelligent to use that premise to say, because I have not seen and this is not something no one has done, therefore it does not exist. When in North America the train first came, then the native tribes there, when they saw a train, they'll run away, they were fearful. Why? They thought the big black snake is coming, it's throwing smoke. In their experience, they had never seen such a thing as a train. So they're on the same level of immaturity. What else can we say? You have to understand there are things beyond us which exist to get proper knowledge. Why? Based on our senses. Hare Krishna.
He is also incarnation of Krishna.
Vyasadeva is an avatar, but not a full avatar. He was a jiva like us, but empowered, given power by Vishnu. That is called a Shakti Avesh avatar. Otherwise, avatar is like Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha. These are known as Purna avatar, plenary. This is Vishnu, Swayam Bhagavan. But Vyas was jiva like us, but he's a jiva, jeev, soul, atma, like us. But given some power by Vishnu to do that. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.